I'm
Yeah,
not
your mic
echoing or
sounds fine.
anything.
Your mic sounds fine. Welcome everybody to another episode of Craziness. I mean, Mornings with Movers. Um, so yeah, no, I hope everybody's having a great day. We started off to a technology issue, but we got through it. Um, so yeah, make sure I turn down my audio. So yeah, I hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday. It's kind of been like a more relaxing morning for me. I've gotten all my tasks done early throughout the weeks. Or early throughout the week. So it's kind of like now I get to relax. And I'm like, what do I do with my spare time?
Mike, what is spare time, man? This is crazy season right now. It's absolutely wild.
Well, you and I aren't exactly in the moving business anymore. So it's not
Mm.
too crazy.
A lot of crazy things in the industry kind of happening right now. So yeah,
Yeah, I've heard.
it's got us rocking and rolling. I mean, obviously a massive shakeup, So
Yeah.
my heart goes out to all the movers who are part of that program, and obviously the whole team and staff um at the particular company. My heart truly does break, right? I mean, it's nobody ever wants to see that happen at all, especially during during peak season, for goodness sakes, that's a whole nother added layer of stress.
Yeah, but that's something I feel like you could have seen coming. We've all projected financials. I don't know again the back story, but we all projected financials and we all can project doomsday. So just to wake up one morning and say, "Oh, we're no longer," it's kind of like weird, you know?
Yeah, and like I said, I won't talk too much on. I've got nothing but the utmost respect uh, for that team. I would say I've met a good portion of that team, and they when I first got in the space, they were the first to reach out and have awesome conversations and just a lot of beautiful people over there. So
Oh yeah,
uh,
definitely.
yeah, I'm gonna pass on any of that conversation, we'll say.
No, I hear you on that. And hey, everybody, I'm not talking bad. I'm just saying,
No,
from
yeah,
a
yeah,
number standpoint.
something like too soon, right? Like, no, my heart goes out, and yeah, but at the end of the day, like, we all we gotta move on. So
Yeah. We also, and it's been again not just them, but there's been a lot of companies, a lot of schools, everything has been shutting down in the last few years. And one of the major private schools where I'm at, that was in Albany area. I think it was St. Rose,
oh yeah.
end up closing down or so like that after so many years. And it was just like, whoa, how is that even a thing? You know, you aren't you funded by, well, I think it's private, so they might be not necessarily funded by the government or whatever the case is, but again, you've been around for 100 years. You have so much real estate in Albany market that to close down, you really hurt that market per se. Now, of course, great realtors are going to sell those properties for you, but it makes a dent in that community.
100%. It's a lot of jobs. It's a lot of revenue for that
You
area.
know, local pizza shops started closing down near them because they're like, well, hey, most of our revenue came from the college students. So now without college students, where are we getting our revenue from?
Yeah. Hey, that's where you got to innovate, or you die. And I think that's just about every industry. I mean, you always got to think outside the box, find new ways to work, and you got to innovate. We got to. There's always challenges. There's always going to be challenges. I think it's how you work through, how you think through, and obviously, hopefully, you surround yourself with an incredible team. So when you do come up with some of these things here, and again, tying it back to knowing the numbers and seeing how much runway you have and forecasting, right? I mean, this all kind of comes into place, and we all can kind of learn a lesson from all the events that have been happening the past 6 months, sort of say, with companies closing and large corporations closing. I mean, we all can take a little piece out of that and learn a little something, I would say.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, and get our marketing up too. You see that moving marketing blueprint, yeah. Um,
Little plug there.
you know, but no, everything starts with making sure your systems are in place. You never want to be in a situation where, and it's some stuff we can't control. let me just start there, especially with like Google, you put all your bang in your buck into Google to make sure that Google's doing their thing. And then one summer, your whole Google business profile just disappears off of Google. And you're just like, oh, okay. What can I do? And these companies are way too big to chase down somebody that actually cares fast enough to make sure that your business is actually running. Um, but only thing you could do is, hey, make sure that all your eggs aren't in one basket. Make sure that, hey, all your marketing isn't just SEO, Google Ads, and what is that? Google Guaranteed. If you diversify using home advisors or any other paid lead providers or postcards, at the end of the day, yes, Google is a major, like Google is now number one source for revenue, but we had to have other channels. I think we had other like 25 other different channels that we were just making sure that even though Google hit us hard, we still hit our revenue target that year. It just sucked because, hey, people can't find us on Google in the summer and
Yeah.
they're finding every other mover. You're just like, what the hell?
Yeah, Google just threw us a curveball. So obviously, I got the sub shop on the side here that we've had for quite some time now, and I've been working my butt off. So I've got all the Facebook reviews. That's great, but I wanted the Google reviews, right? So we've
Mhm.
got I got it up to, it was just shy of 100. And literally all five. We had one 4-star, and then we actually had a 3-star because it was the guy was like, the food was awesome, this was great, whatever. But why even open if you're only going to stay open until 6 p.m. at night, right? So, but the review, nice written review, was great. So I'm like, hey, I don't mind that. It's legitimate, right? So I woke up, was it last week? Last week or the week before, in my Google thing, it said I had 400 and some odd reviews, and I was 3.6 stars. And
Mm.
of course, I'm freaking out. I'm just like, wait a minute. One, I'm like, how did I get 200 plus reviews overnight? Like, that's amazing. But at the same time, how did I go from 5 stars down to 3.8? It was 3.8 or 3.6. What they did is they ended up merging another company's, and it was another food business in town who shut down like 4 years ago, took all their reviews and put them on my Google page. And dude, they were
Mm.
1 star, 2 star, 1 star. I mean, and people were like, if I could give 0 stars, I would. So you want to talk about a freak out moment? I'm just like, man, well, how's this going to impact business today? Like, I couldn't imagine like not having my Google be up and operational in the peak season for a mover. So I had it just on a little end, but I will say I made a quick call to Google. It took them 24 hours, but they had all the reviews removed. The only problem is when they did that, I respond to every review, obviously, like everybody should, right? All my responses to all those 100 plus reviews that I had worked my butt off to get were all gone. So
Mm.
somehow they flipped the switch and took another 24 hours. They got a course corrected and we're good to go. But yeah, I was freaking out. And that's just something minimal, right? But I was tweaking.
Well, it took them, I think, almost 2 months
Ooh.
to get my Google My Business profile back up. And then I had about 400 or 500 reviews overall, and I lost about 200 and something reviews. And I asked Google, "Hey, I lost so many reviews. Oh, do you know which reviews you lost?"
Yeah.
No, I don't. But then they're like, "Oh, well, we can get 10 back for you." So if you can get 10, that means you know that some reviews are missing.
Yeah, we can get a little bit back from you. I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, you missed out 14,000 5-star reviews. Get that back.
So yeah, it was a nightmare. I end up with like 200 to 300 reviews out of like almost 400 and something reviews. And I was just so mad because I was like, we worked so hard for these reviews just for Google to make the error of, oh, well, we just took down your reviews because we're changing our algorithm. And we know that a lot of people are putting up a lot of fake reviews. So we're now starting to, I think they were trying to scan everybody's Google My Business profile, and if those people that provided a review didn't have like a legitimate Google account or have never provided a review on another person's page, they were considering those to be fake reviews,
Yep.
and a lot of people were losing their reviews. But I was like, I didn't ever, hire a company to give me fake reviews. I definitely spent $2,000 on a company like Bird Eye to get me more reviews. So, now to see all that go to waste is like, what?
Yeah, I say, how did you get reviews back in your days? Like obviously, I've always reviews are hard. I would say that they're not hard to get, but the people that have great experiences typically don't take the time to leave a review, right? But the ones that
Mhm.
have a little inkling of a bad response or a bad experience are the first ones to be like, so how did you and your company basically, ensure that when your customers had great experiences, that you captured those amazing reviews?
So if it wasn't on a job where, so we spoke to every customer at the end of every move. And if they seemed super overjoyous about the service or whatever the case is, we would just really heighten the fact of, hey, can you go and provide us a review right on our Google page? That'd be helpful. Also, with our CRM would send a customer right after the bill later would sign, a review as
Yep.
well. We try to set up the triggers where if they didn't provide a review the first time around, that they'll get a second message that goes out to them asking them to provide a review. They would get it via text as well as email. And then again, we did get set up with Bird Eye, and Bird Eye was a review fetcher. So I didn't like the fact that they like to go all the way back in the past and reach out to all your customers in the past, because I'm like, oh, well, maybe those customers don't remember, or they got a horrible experience with somebody else and now they're trying to put it on us because they didn't remember.
Yep.
But going forward, they were always active every week trying to make sure every customer we service that we got a review. So that was huge. And the message that you create is also huge. What is that message that's going out to the customers asking them for a review? So every little detail about that, I was very on top of, where it was like, okay, hey, this is that canned message that I'm going to send out to every customer, being very sincere, being very welcoming, and just asking them for that nice review.
Yeah, I just find it anytime we tried to go after, basically once the move was over, if we didn't capture that move on site right there, I felt like we were chasing. And it was a struggle. Even though they were wonderful moves, like I just feel like, the people were busy, that it gets lost in the email, gets lost in the text, along with every other thing that they're doing. What I found that worked really, really well is to have your crew lead, your driver, what have you. They got these really cool NFC like tap cards, right, for Google reviews. It costs you what, $8, $9 a card. I think you can get a pack of 10 of them for, I think, like 70, $80 if you buy in bulk on Amazon. They actually look just like this, right? So you
Oh
punch your
yeah.
little company name in there, and driver keeps it in his wallet. And obviously after they're doing kind of the final walkthrough and things like that, who knows better the experience that the customer has, and the driver that's on site right then, right there, is the driver and the crew. So obviously, if it was a phenomenal experience, that driver, hey, how was your move? This, that, you mind hooking us up? Give us a little 5-star review. Tell the world how we did for you. And they literally just take their phone, tap the card, instant review. Get them while
Yeah.
they're hot. And it worked well. We actually do that at the sub shop. Now it's not a card. It's just, you ever see one of those, it's like a little L shape. It's got a big old Google G on it. And you literally, like, if we have a thing that, hey, love our subs, had a wonderful experience, tap here. And then when you tap there, you leave a 5-star review, or any review, I would say, not even 5-star, you get 20% off your next meal. So, almost incentivize, like, hey, because we always hear, you guys are wonderful. This is great. You guys are awesome. Well, I love that. Word of mouth is great, but how do we get that same experience to transfer over to Google reviews, Facebook reviews, and what have you, and catching them while they're hot instantly, man, seems to be working.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, thank you for reminding me. We did have those cards as well. We branded them our colors, so we had an orange card with a big QR code on it.
Yep.
And basically, we can either leave it with the customer, or I'll have my drivers keep it in their wallets so that it was like instant. And we would tell them, hey, if you got the customer say your name on a review, we'll give you a $10 bonus or so like that for that month. And we actually had 5-star review competitions ongoingly, so that was encouragement for these guys to ask for the 5-star reviews. To monitor it, we really just focused on the Google channel, so that basically we could count how many reviews we had that month, or we would see how many reviews we had in our portal for the CRM and see how many reviews those people had. And then we would again, with like 6+ reviews in a month, depending on the season, we would say, oh, if you got 6+ reviews, we'll give you 8 hours of additional pay. Plus you can get 2 free movie tickets when movie tickets were super cheap.
Yeah, when they were
uh,
cheap.
And we just had different incentives for people, and we had second runner-ups. So like, hey, even if you weren't the top person, we'll have a second runner-up, but you may not get the first place prize by any means. And the guys love the competition. We also get them like little gift certificates as well at the end, not gift certificates, but certificates at the end of the month to show that, hey, you're the employee of the month because you got 5-star reviews, etc. And we'll post their pictures up on HR board in our warehouse so people could see, oh, this guy was a star of the month, and people come in like, oh man, he ain't gonna get it next month, he ain't gonna get it next month.
Yep.
And it's just a little friendly competition amongst the guys.
No, I love that. We had a scorecard as well. And this is again back pre-CRM system and all that stuff. We're literally like, was all the paperwork brought back and filled out and signed by the customer, you know, claims, timeliness, promptness, all that, customer reviews. We had this giant scorecard. I say giant scorecard, it was a big whiteboard in the back that we had all our driver, crew, and we weren't sure how it was going to take off at first, but I'll tell you, man, once you start keeping score and you've got that scoreboard up, it created this hella freaking inner competition with our teams. Everybody wanted to be top. Nobody wanted to be in the red. Nobody wanted to be in the yellow. Everybody wanted to be in the green. And obviously put a little bit of incentives behind that, man. And it transformed our team. Absolutely.
Hmm.
They were like superheroes at that point. But the thing is, when you do something like that, you do have to stay on top of it. You can't go 2 months of keeping a nice tight scorecard and what have you, and then you take a week off. Because then when you take a week off, those guys are going to take not a week off. They're probably going to take a month off at that
Yeah.
point. So, yeah,
Well,
just
yeah, you definitely want to
be
make it.
consistent.
You definitely, yes, I definitely want to make it scalable, something that's trackable. So before I started anything, it was like, well, hey, is this going to be a lot of work? Do you have an advocate or a person who can monitor this to make sure that it's getting done if you can't keep up with it? And it's weird, a lot of weird things to think about, but it's like, hey, you know what? I don't want to be that inconsistent bug in a room where it's just like, oh yeah, we started this last month, but oh man, I got so much on my plate, I can't keep up with this. So I made a routine. Every month on the 31st or the first, I would do all of my monthly reports at the end of the month. Whether it's when I was doing my QuickBooks manually with the desktop, not the online. I would it would take me probably like 2 days if I found something that was off, which was a nightmare. Um, but I would do that at the end of the month. I would do my operational reports at the end of the month, and I consolidated my operational reports to one Excel worksheet where it was like, hey, you know what? What type of jobs did you bring in for the month? Oh, well, we did enough. We did 30,000 in loading jobs, 40,000 in unloading jobs, 10,000 in junk removal jobs, whatever it was. That would be like the first tab. Second tab will be, hey, how'd your marketing do? Oh, well, all of these marketing sources, they did this. Here's what the performance outlook was. Okay, next tab is my sales ROI. How did the sales reps do? And I would look at, again, these are all reports that's yes in your CRM, but it's nothing. If you don't put hands on it, it's something that you're just going to bypass. So for me, it was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to transfer this information manually from my dashboard to my Excel sheet because then I can see any imperfections. Oh, geez, this person had $40,000 in sales last month. It ain't no way. That would be good, but it ain't no way. So let me see where error was. And you could find errors because one month I overpaid my sales rep because it said that she sold what was it? I think like it must have been like $30,000 or $40,000. And I knew that something wonky was there because you're in operations every day. You would know if that person sold that much.
Yeah.
So I checked back and I found the error where one job was when it was closed out, it was duplicated. So that caused the error in that salary. And because I paid them out on the 15th of that following month for the previous month, it was like, geez, I'm against time. So I didn't catch it and I paid them way more than they should have been paid. And then I caught it, spoke to the CRM, and the CRM people were like, oh, I don't know how that could have happened. Oh, we're so sorry. You so sorry? I'm sorry too, because I done lost a lot of money here.
I just 2x the commission of my sales rep. Hey, I'm coming to work for you, man. I'll book moves all day. We'll just double them things up.
So I end up having to kind of like take it out of their future earnings, which sucked because it's like, now are they going to give me crap for that? Because, well, it's not my fault you overpaid me. Well, errors happen, but you know, but I know some people that take like some people that take 2 months to pay you out your commissions for, so let's say that it's June, you wouldn't get your June commissions until August essentially, but you in July you would get May's commission. So it was kind of like 2 months back, but it made sense because then you can correct any errors that may have been made at that point without having to feel the duress of rushing. But
Yeah,
again, you
look at some of the profit margins on some of these things too, and be like, hey, these guys just got the move out just to gut the move to get the commission, or do they actually sell some value and actually have a nice gross profit on them pieces?
and you also got to be looking at, like you said, the price variance reports. Hey, are the guys complaining? Oh, well, this job was underbooked. It took, instead of it being 4 hours, it took us 6, 7 hours. Well, guys, why did it take you 6, 7 hours? Because in New York State, one, you can't charge more than 110% of the actual estimate without having the customer do an IOU, technically. But you
Yeah.
never tell them that.
Good luck trying to get that money, especially when it goes over the 110%, right? So I remember writing that. I remember back in the day, like on the old Milburn forms, you'd have your estimated hours, blah, blah, whatever. And then over on that right-hand side, that column, it had that, what is the 110%, basically the max that we're allowed to collect from that customer. But that is something I did review with the customer at all times. And I always erred on the higher side of things based on the customer not doing what they said they were going to do.
Hmm.
I'm sure we've all been there. Oh, no, no, I'm going to take care of that. Nope, I'm going to take care of that. You guys just move these, you just move the big pieces of furniture, right? And I'm like, well, who's
Hmm.
handling the boxes? Who's handling that piano? Who's handling this? Oh, we're going to take care of that. So I was always super transparent and just said, hey, basically, Mr. Customer, understand you're looking to do a good chunk of this move. Things happen. I've seen this over my 10 plus years in the industry. What happens if you don't get it done? I want to give you realistically what it's going to cost for us to basically move all of this stuff. If you do what you say you're going to do, it's going to cost you X. If you don't, as we understand, things pop up. This is in reality what it's going to cost you. And I won a lot of battles that way. I didn't just try to underestimate just to book the job, knowing, hey, I booked it for 6 hours, knowing it's a 9-hour job. No way. You're never going to get reviews. You get unhappy customers. And of course, unhappy customers, additional pricing that they weren't expecting, you better believe there's some claims coming.
Yeah,
So,
and
and I
it's
was that way. I had no issues with that at all. And there was only a few times I went over the had to pull out the 110% card, but like very minimal over the course of all those years.
yeah, no, and it's crazy how the markets change and fluctuate. So in New York, you get comfortable quoting, hey, your move is going to take 8 hours. This is going to be the price. And if it, for us, we would say, hey, if the guys get done sooner than the 8 hours, 5 hours per se, we'll charge you for 5 hours. We just need to estimate so that you know what you're projected to pay in the worst case scenario. And in Florida, you use that same type of mentality, and they're like, "Oh, geez, you're too high," because people in Florida are like, "Well, hey, we can get you. We can get if we can get in the door, it'll be a 2 hour minimum. Here's the truck and travel fee, and blah blah blah. And if it goes over the 2 hours, you'll be paying this per hour, knowing damn well it's going to be an 8 hour job."
Yeah.
And now the customers are probably a little mad because it's like, well, it's 8 hours. I didn't expect to pay $1,000. I projected that, you quoted me 2 hours and maybe 2 hours for maybe like $400. I was thinking maybe like I might go up to $600, but I didn't expect $1,000. I don't have that. And you're just like, well, you got to pay it. And you're just like, now you're arguing with the customers. Now I don't know. I don't think there's a 110% rule in Florida, but
Yeah, Florida's pretty I don't want to say the wild wild west by any means, but it's not like New York. I can tell you that at all. Although I feel like they are getting a little bit they are cracking down a little bit more. But yeah, it's still nowhere near like what we've had to deal with for all those years. And nowhere, I don't want to knock on New York. They're not bad. They just file your rates. Stay
mhm.
with what you say you're going to do it. Um, but I find
But there are some stuff about that as well. They do like to ding you for every time you change your rates too often. And that was one of the things that I got audited for a couple of times where they're like, "Oh yeah, you changed your rates 3 times this year. What could be the reasons for that? Because the time of the year changed." Uh, you
yeah,
know.
things change. And, I think that's, I attribute to a lot of our, because we were always tweaking our tariff. And shout out to Bill Whalen for dealing with me and even his father for 10 plus years of constantly like emailing, calling, like, hey, we're going to make a change. Hey, we're going to do this. Hey, what do you think about that? And they were great for us. But again, back to relationships, we talked about many, many weeks ago as, you know, not just reaching out to the Bill Whalens of the world or the associations of the world when you actually need something, but reach out and chit chat, see how you can potentially help those guys as well. So, because there's nothing worse and you probably get this, when your phone rings with that particular name, you're like, what do they want? Versus,
Hmm.
oh, you don't know what they want. It could be just a regular call, or it could be, hey, I need your assistance on this one. So I never wanted anyone to feel that when they saw my name come up on their cell phones or office phones, like, oh, shoot,
Hmm.
what's Ryan looking to do today? Like that was never the case. Initially, it was though. My first couple years, I'm like, help me do this. But yeah, over the years, I learned the appropriate way, sort of say, to build those relationships and truly, propel by staying super tight to our associations.
Definitely. No, and I also want to make a special announcement before I forget, because I know I got that weird brain up here. But nevertheless, so as a reminder, as you guys can see in the back, the moving marketing blueprint has came out. It's still, we're working out a little more kinks, but I think for the most part, it is ready to go. Um, we are only taking five beta testers right now at the early price, where we give you half off to get into the program. It is a yearly subscription because basically we want to make sure that you guys get your marketing in order and you don't have to feel the pressure of a monthly expense hitting your pockets. But the for the program and for everything you guys going to need to be implementing in this off season, this is going to be a great program for you guys. I know a lot of you guys right now are like some of your minds are just all over the place with this whole sales ordeal going on. But you know, rest assured, you guys are going to be back where you need to be back at. It's I'm not gonna say it's good, but it's at this point it's at the end of August, so it's not too bad that this situation didn't occur. If it occurred in June, then I know a lot of you guys would have definitely been, in a panic. But we with September right around the corner, I think you guys are definitely going to be bouncing back really soon. Just stay, like I said, headstrong. Do your thing with your sales. Obviously, as moving owners, we know who knows the product better than us. So, just keep thriving out there, and you guys are definitely going to be turning back around. September 12th, we have a moving seminar going on with the man, hopefully Ryan, who will be attending. I know he got a busy schedule, but we also have Greg Shepard in the building as well with Brian Bloom from Mover Search Marketing. We also even have a SEO rep, not an SEO, sorry, social media guy who will be joining us as well. So, definitely just tune in September 12th, register. I've been putting the register link up on LinkedIn as well in our Facebook community on Facebook. So register for the event. It's going to be a private event. And yeah, you guys will be able to ask whatever questions y'all want to ask. Just, register.
Is,
Um,
is, is it a free event, or is there a cost to attend?
oh no, it's going to be free, but it's private, it's kind of like one of those things where similar to I know how Super Move is and everything like that, dropping the knowledge and stuff like that. And I'm the same way. Like I don't ever want a penny pinch if I don't need to.
Yep.
Obviously knowledge is free. There's YouTube, there's Google, there's Chat GBT now.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, you know what? Just come be in an environment of like-minded people and just get these gems.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than paying for a ticket to hear the same song and dance that you've heard for the past who knows how many years. So, no, it's cool that you're doing it for free and providing this service to the movers. I'll get back with you on because, like I said, I'm going to be down in Washington D.C. assisting, I don't want to say assisting movers by any means, but advocating for the movers, obviously with the call on Washington. So I got to see, I have to get with my guy at the ATA and see when that ends. I know it ends on the 12th. I haven't taken a peek at the last itinerary yet, but yeah, man, if I can make it, absolutely, I'd love to hop on board and be a part of what you're doing for the industry here.
Definitely, definitely. So Ryan, I don't mind, what you thought about my that social media marketing portion? Don't hurt
Well,
my feelings too much now.
you kind of you painting that with a broad brush. I mean, can you ask something a little bit deeper,
Okay.
or
So was it informal? Did it give you some type of knowledge as far as um how to paint the picture of doing your social media?
Absolutely. I think you definitely provided without going into the weeds and what have you. And I think that's where, the more diving deeper into your program will allow people to dive deeper in that. But I think that from what I watched, that 8 minute long segment there definitely gives a great outline of, what you should be looking at, where you should potentially be driving. I think it has a lot of great ideas for moving companies that, because again, I'm not a marketing guy by any means. So for me to watch something in just a few short minutes and go, ooh, okay, I can go down this road. I think I can handle that. I think there's a lot of people struggle with the marketing aspect, and you see all these big name marketing places and what have you that are just, I sit in a lot of some of these meetings and I'm just like, I don't even know what the heck they're talking about. And I mover for 12 plus years. So I get a little so I like the way that you I hate to use the term dummy it down, but you make it make sense. You're not
Mhm.
using industry speak. You're talking like we're talking, sort of say.
Mhm.
I do like how you break it down. So someone that has no clue, knows nothing about marketing or SEO, what have you, can actually sit there and listen and see and go, okay, I think I can take some action on this. This makes sense. So great job on that. Because I feel like sometimes, and that's just kind of a probably every industry, I would say, just some of the industry language. Like sometimes you have to remember that, when I'm talking to this high powered marketing guy, like I don't know his world that well. So when he's throwing out all these abbreviations and acronyms, or not acronyms, but I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're saying. Like, break that down. Talk to me like I'm a 2 year old. And
Mhm.
once they do that, well, not a 2 year old, maybe a 10 year old, but once they do that, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. So now I'm excited to see where you're heading and excited to dive deeper into your blueprint here.
Yeah, and that's all we wanted to do here at Max Movement Training. Like I like to say we, because obviously I got a team, but pretty much that's the goal. It was to make sure that we brought awareness to you guys and understand that, if you guys don't want to use a company, having some insight to, or even if you do use a company, having some insight that they're not pulling a fast one over your head is key. You get postcards and postcards like, oh well, you need to do this, you need to do this, and you need to do this, or your website needs to look like this, and you don't know nothing, and you're just like, well, they told me that, I'm paying $2,000. It has to be right. No, because you don't know what ROI you're supposed to be getting from it. You don't know what, ultimately the outcome of it is supposed to be. So having some insight, even if again, you delegate it to somebody else, you're supposed to be the jack of all trades. You're supposed to know a bit about sales, a bit about operations, a bit about moving, a bit about marketing, a bit about HR, compliance. There's no way for you to master everything. But if you do one thing wrong, who's responsible? You are. You know, if you forgot that your guys didn't do their driver's locks, who's responsible? Not your operations manager, is you. So again, just having that information out there, and I kind of wish that I did have that information when I first started. And it was like 3 years, 4 years in that I then found a mentor that was in the industry who was selling these programs, but it was so expensive at that time, and you were like, shit, pull a trigger on this because I don't know if I can necessarily afford it or I'll get the ROI from it. And then you take that chance, you pull the trigger, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is good. Okay, you know what? I don't want to pay monthly. I want to pay, yearly, because I know that, hey, I pay the yearly price. I don't have to worry about it. I can take the time I need to implement every single step in this program. And then, hey, you know what? Some people, the one benefit about our company is that we are always updating information. So we find that there's a new marketing program out there, or there's something new that's going on, we're going to look to add it in. And a lot of these other training programs, they don't. They'll say, hey, we'll sell you that same $2,000 program year over year, over year over year. And we're never going to add not a single drip or new content to it. Where, hey, you know what? We may not even change the price of ours, and we might just keep adding videos just because the way my brain flows is like, hey, you know what? That is interesting. Let me add that in there.
I like the compliance piece that you're adding in because I think that's something that's oftentimes overlooked. My two non-negotiables when I was in the industry was safety and compliance. Those two, there was no gray area. It was, are we safe? And two, are we compliant? Those are two main pieces. And as you know, or may not know, here in New York, they changed some things up, right? So obviously there's big rogue movers going around, and it used to be, they get a fine, they get a slap on the, $10,000 fine, $5,000 fine, whatever it is. Well, a lot of these companies, they can handle that, right? I mean, to run rogue, not have to have insurance, not have to have a motor carrier number, any of that, which costs a good chunk of money, right? So they could take that five, six, seven, $10,000 fine, switch your name around, and continue to operate. The attorney general is now involved. It goes straight there. So now if you don't have a motor carrier number or you're not compliant in certain aspects, it's no longer fines, man. It's jail time and like straight,
Wow.
yeah. I this was something that was brought to my attention a ways back because I was just dealing with a mover here locally. Actually, great guy, but doesn't have a motor carrier number. He says he's just labor only, but he's renting trucks and doing moves. And if you look at his website, it says, well, blank, 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 moving and storage. So he's posing as a moving company. He is technically no motor carrier number, no MC number in New York, operating like a mover, having the website, you're going to jail. And like, that's not a, you know, it's serious now, which is really, really cool that they're doing that. But I feel like that's just, there's not enough education awareness of that. You never want to see anybody go to jail or, a lot of moving companies that are, multi-million dollars and multi-branches started that way with a pickup truck and a rental and what have you, right? That's how they learn the system. That's how they grew their machine. So, nothing but respect for people out there trying to start a moving company, but just know, be aware if you're not compliant, things have changed
Mm-hmm.
for the better to protect all the legitimate movers out there. So yeah, I love the compliancy piece that you do as
Yeah. And I think that, like you said, it makes sense. And I had the conversation with DOT at one of our events before, and I was just like, we don't want to, I don't believe you want to make the requirements challenging again. Like, so when I was 2 years in, I had got my MC number, my USDOT number. I never had got my T number, which is the New York State ID. Didn't know about it because who's to tell me? Well,
yeah.
you're a new mover in the industry and you have no moving buddies and you need to get all this stuff. So I'm thinking, well, hey, I got my USDOT, I got my MC number, I'm good to go. I'm just gonna pay my taxes and keep it moving. And eventually I found out 2 years, 3 years in that, oh, you need to get your local license. What the hell? Nah, somebody trying to pull a fast one over my head. So I ended up going down there. I said, you know what? Let me just look into it. And they was like, yeah, so you need to do this fit test. The fit test requires that, you were a local mover. You worked for a local moving company for 2 years, et cetera, and you know what the New York requirements are. Hmm. I never worked for another moving company though. Um, but I've been doing this for 2 years. I've just gained the knowledge and experience of doing this.
Yep.
And they were like, oh, nope, that doesn't count. You need to work for a legitimate moving company. I'm like, so if I was a mover for another moving company, how would I know the true ins and outs of compliance? And, and it just didn't make any sense. And so they was like, well, you can hire a person who's worked for another moving company for 2+ years, whether there was a mover or whomever in the company. Again, that doesn't make sense, because this person was a mover. They're ground level. They go out, do the move, come back, get paid, and go home.
Yep. And that's where, man, like I said, you leverage your local associations. You're moving associations, leverage the heck out of them. They're amazing people. I deal with not all in every state, but a good chunk. I'd say at least half of, about half the country. I would say I'm in constant communication with the associations. But man, a great outlet where if you're not sure what to do, you're not sure if you're compliant or not, I think it's a great avenue. Plus, you got the Moving Pros Network. Will assist you with tariffs, making sure that you're compliant, as well as if you get an issue in audit the arbitration side, and they're super cheap, man. It's only like a couple $100 a year to have these guys have your back and go to bat for you in the event that you do have some type of audit or you have tariff questions or what have you. So spend a couple $100, go link up with the with Liam and his father of that Moving Pros Network. They're a great group of guys there. They're truly they got the movers backs.
And that you said that's the compliance company?
Yeah, they're more like tariffs and arbitration. But great folks. You should probably
Okay.
have them pop on your show sometime. I had quite a few talks with these guys, and every time I chat with them, I learned something new, which is awesome.
Yeah. I gotta figure out what company it is. But oh, Unified Compliance Services, that's who it is. They're a really great compliance company as well, that I would recommend to people. And some of these compliance companies that help you get your DOT number, your driver files always updated, your BOC3, etc. There's so many little intricate details.
You can
That's why
get
you
lost
kind
in it.
that's why you need to delegate some of this stuff. But you go through them, and companies very similar to them also do, if they know that you have an audit coming up, or you got a roadside assistant, you got pulled over at a roadside assistant, you give them a call and they'll kind of walk you through the process of making sure that everything goes off without a hiccup as much as humanly possible. They'll also let you know what stuff you need to have in your binder before you get audited or whatever the case is. So you're prepared, and that should be in every truck. So definitely just make sure you guys are with a compliance company. They're super inexpensive. You don't have to pay them a retainer every month. You just anytime you need something done, like a driver file being done or updated or whatever the case is, they'll do it for you at whatever they charge.
Yeah, it's
Um,
always good to have a safety net, man. Always good.
Definitely. So, hey guys, we are at the top of the gym dropping right now. We probably could have forced a little bit more, but we're gonna stop here. And if you guys have any questions, definitely reach out to Ryan or myself. But we are definitely here to help you guys get to that next level. I know, again, with everything going on, it will get better. So breathe, relax. Tomorrow's another day. Today is still a day. It's only 9:50. So definitely, just keep pushing forward and breathe. You will be okay. Um, Ryan, you want to lead on with anything?
No, man. Hey, just congratulations on working your butt off on this moving marketing blueprint, man. It takes a lot of hard work, a ton of dedication, and it just shows the true testament that you have and the love you have for the industry. So, yeah, man, just wish you nothing but the best for this, and obviously always here to assist you, man. You got a passion for the industry, and it's one of the reasons why I love jumping on this on your show. I share that same passion with you, and I want nothing but the best for the movers, right? We've all been there, we've all made the mistakes, we've all had great seasons, we've had shitty seasons, we've had good days, bad days, and terrible days. But at the end of the day, man, it's the people in this industry are some super amazing folks, and it's just I don't ever see myself getting out of the this industry, and it's the people that keeps me in it, and it's truly what keeps me driving every single day.
Definitely. All right, y'all. So keep turning up. I'll keep dropping some more and more exciting news going forward. But yeah, we are all here to win. Let's go. All right, y'all. Take care.